guys, so today I am going to be doing my June wrap-up. I read 5 books in June, which I'm pretty happy with. There are only 2 books on my TBR that I didn't finish. The first one was The Assassin Game, which I just didn't get around to reading, and the second one was Ghostland and American History and Haunted Places, which I ended up DNFing because I could not get past the writing. It was not for me. But anyways, on to the books that I did read. So the first book I finished in June was The Princess Diarist by Carrie Fisher. This is an autobiography memoir kind of book, which follows mostly her life during the filming of Star Wars. I gave this book 5 out of 5 stars, which was probably a little bit generous because there were some parts that were a little bit boring and the writing was a little hard for me to get used to, but it's Carrie Fisher, I couldn't give it less than 5 stars. I absolutely loved this book. I read it in 2 days. I remember the day that I started reading it, I was feeling kind of down and I wanted to read a book that would make me laugh, and Carrie Fisher never fails to make me laugh, and this book didn't either. It gave me all the feels. It made me laugh, it made me cry, it made me happy, it made me sad. Overall, this book was just amazing, and I would highly recommend it if you love Star Wars or just Carrie Fisher in general. Then I read Scarlet by Marissa Meyer. This is the second book in the Lunar Chronicles. Since it is a sequel, I can't tell you much about what it's about, but it is a Little Red Riding Hood retelling, although it does still follow the characters from Cinder. And I gave this book 4.5 out of 5 stars. The only reason I didn't give it a full 5 stars was because, to be honest, I didn't really like Scarlet and Wolf as characters that much. Wolf really kind of reminded me of how Edward acted in New Moon, and I love Twilight and I love Edward, but I hated the way he was in New Moon. I didn't like it, and that's kind of what Wolf reminds me of. So I just didn't really like their scenes as much. I didn't hate them or anything, I just didn't like them as much as the other ones, but it was still an amazing book. And yeah. The next book that I read was Don't Look Back by Jennifer L. Armentrout, who is the author of the Lux series, which I've never read. I've always been kind of on the fence about it because some people seem to either really love it or really hate it, so I'm not really sure about ever reading that series. But I heard about this book, I can't remember whose channel it was, but it's a standalone thriller/mystery. It follows this teenage girl called Samantha who went missing with her best friend, and the book opens with her being found again, but she can't remember anything. She doesn't remember her friend, she doesn't remember going missing, she doesn't even remember her family or anything from her past. But the best friend that she went missing with turns up dead, and nobody knows who killed her, and some people think that Samantha killed her, but she doesn't even know because she can't remember. I gave this book 4.5 out of 5 stars. It was so good. It had me on the edge of my seat and guessing the whole way through until the end. Then I kind of started to guess who it was. It was suspenseful. It had great characters. I absolutely loved this book. The only reason I didn't give this one 5 out of 5 stars was because it reminded me a lot of Pretty Little Liars, where I love the whole murder mystery aspect of it, but I hate the whole high school drama thing. That whole part of the story, I can't deal. But other than that, it was really good, and if you like kind of mystery thriller books, I would definitely recommend this one. Next, I read Crust by Marissa Meyer, and this is the 3rd book in the Lunar Chronicles, and this is a Rapunzel retelling, and I gave this book 5 out of 5 stars. It was so good. I love Cress's character, but what really just made this book for me is one of my new book boyfriends, Captain Thorne. Oh my goodness, I love him so much. He's just so witty and funny. He kind of a little bit reminds me of Tom Hiddleston Loki kind of character, but just the dialogue between Cress and him was so good. If I could just get a book dedicated to the two of them, oh, I would love that. So yeah, I gave this 5 out of 5 stars, and I am super duper excited to read Winter. I'm excited, but not at the same time because I really don't want it to end. And then the last book that I read in June was Unfiltered, No Shame, No Regrets, Just Me by Lily Collins. And I ended up giving this book 2 out of 5 stars. Now, before anybody says anything, it has nothing against the author or anything like that. I was super excited for this book. I even got a signed copy, which I'm very happy about, but I rate my books off of the enjoyment level or the entertainment level, so that's why I gave it 2 stars. But if I was to give it a technical rating, I would have given it a 5 stars because the writing was really good, and I thought it was really awesome for her to speak about these very sensitive and like taboo topics that I think could be very helpful for people who have been through or who are currently going through some of the stuff she spoke about in this book. But fortunately for me, I've never been through most of the stuff in this book. There was one part of it that I very much related to, and it even started to make me tear up a little bit. But other than that, it just wasn't particularly entertaining for me. So these were all of the books that I read in June. Leave me a comment down below and let me know what your favorite book was that you read in June. Mine was definitely Crust. I absolutely loved it. So yeah, that is all for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!